It was a long, tiring day by the Sea of Galilee. The sun was beginning to set, casting warm golden light across the water. Crowds of people had gathered from all over to listen to Jesus speak. Some brought their sick relatives hoping for healing. Others came with questions about God. Many simply wanted to hear him teach, because when Jesus spoke, it wasn't like the other teachers. His words had power. They touched hearts. Jesus stood by the water's edge, teaching in parables, simple stories with deep meaning. The people listened intently, some sitting on the ground, others leaning in. The disciples stood nearby, watching, learning, and helping manage the crowd. But by evening, Jesus was exhausted. His body needed rest. He had poured out love, compassion, and wisdom all day. So he turned to his disciples and said, "Let's go across to the other side of the lake." The disciples didn't hesitate. Some of them were fishermen and very familiar with this lake. It was their home. They quickly untied the boat, raised the sail, and began the journey across the Sea of Galilee. The water looked peaceful. The breeze was gentle. Everything seemed normal. Jesus, tired from the day, went to the back of the boat and laid down. He found a cushion and fell asleep quickly, trusting the disciples to guide the boat across. As the boat drifted further from shore, the voices of the crowd faded, and all that was left was the soft lapping of water and the rocking of the boat. The disciples likely felt relaxed too. The sea was calm, and Jesus was with them. What could possibly go wrong? But as we often learn in life, storms don't always come with warning. Sometimes, they rise out of nowhere, suddenly, violently, and without mercy. And this peaceful evening was about to become something very different. The peaceful journey didn't last long. As the disciples sailed further into the middle of the lake, the wind began to change. What started as a soft breeze suddenly turned sharp and loud. Clouds rolled in, dark and fast. The moon and stars disappeared behind a thick curtain of black sky. And then, the storm hit. A powerful gust of wind rocked the boat, and waves began to slam against its sides. Water sprayed over the edge, soaking the disciples. The boat creaked and groaned under the pressure. This wasn't just a small storm. It was a violent squall, the kind that could sink even a sturdy fishing boat. Peter and Andrew, experienced fishermen, shouted commands to the others. "Tie down the sail. Bail out the water. Hold on." The disciples scrambled to do whatever they could, using buckets, cloths, even their hands, to throw water out of the boat. But the waves kept coming bigger and louder. Thunder roared overhead, and flashes of lightning lit up their terrified faces. Fear took over. These were not beginners on the sea. Many of them had faced bad weather before, but this storm was unlike anything they had seen. Their boat felt tiny and fragile compared to the mighty waves. It began to fill with water fast. And in the middle of this chaos, this life-threatening, heart-racing panic, someone looked to the back of the boat and cried out, "Jesus!" There he was, head resting on a cushion, peaceful as if he were lying in a quiet house, not a sinking ship. The disciples couldn't believe it. How could he be sleeping? Didn't he see what was happening? Didn't he care? Peter rushed to him, water dripping from his hair and beard, and shook him awake. "Teacher, don't you care that we're about to drown?" Those words echoed with desperation, not just fear for their lives, but confusion. How could Jesus, the one they trusted, rest while they were in danger? As silence fell over the sea, the disciples stood frozen in place. They didn't speak right away. Their hearts were still racing, their robes clung to their wet skin, and their minds struggled to understand what had just happened. One minute, they had been in the fight of their lives. The next, the storm had vanished, not calmed gradually, but silenced instantly at the words of a man they thought they knew. Jesus, their teacher, turned to them with eyes full of both love and challenge. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked gently. "Do you still have no faith?" It was a question that echoed deeper than the surface. He wasn't just talking about the wind or the water. He was speaking to their hearts, their trust. Had they already forgotten who he was? Jesus had performed miracles before their very eyes. He had healed the sick, made the blind see, even raised the dead. Yet in the face of danger, fear still ruled their hearts. Because when fear comes crashing in like a storm, faith can feel small, unless it's rooted in the one who commands the waves. The disciples had trusted their own strength, their experience, and their knowledge of the sea. But when all that failed them, panic took over. In their fear, they questioned whether Jesus cared. And now he was gently reminding them, "I was here all along. Did you think I would let you drown?" That question is for us too. How many times in life do we panic first and pray last? How often do we let fear grow louder than our faith? Jesus wasn't angry. He wasn't scolding them. He was teaching them, in the most unforgettable way. Faith doesn't mean the storm won't come. It means knowing who's with you when it does. The disciples had just witnessed a miracle, one that didn't just quiet the waves but revealed the true power of the one they followed. Their eyes met his, and though the storm was gone, their hearts were now stirring with awe. Who was this man? They had called him teacher, but this was something far greater. Even the sea obeyed him. And slowly, reverence replaced fear. As morning light began to rise over the lake, the disciples continued their journey with Jesus. The water gently rocked the boat now, calm as if the storm had never existed. But in their hearts, something had changed forever. The storm had tested their faith and exposed their fear. But more than that, it had revealed something powerful. Jesus was more than they thought. They realized something we all need to remember. Storms will come. Fear will visit. Life will sometimes feel like it's crashing down around us. But if Jesus is in the boat, there is hope. Sometimes, we think trusting Jesus means we'll avoid storms. But the truth is, trusting Jesus means we have peace in the storm because he's with us. Right there. Beside us. Never shaken. Always in control. Maybe your storm isn't wind and waves. Maybe it's the loss of someone you love. Or a health scare. Or a problem in your family. Or fear of the unknown. Whatever it is, Jesus sees it. And even if it feels like he's asleep, he hasn't left you. He's waiting for your cry. He's listening for your voice. He's still the one who speaks peace. So today, let this story remind you. Don't let the storm make you forget who's in your boat. Jesus is the one who brings calm to chaos. He's the anchor in your fear. He's the voice above the wind. And when you feel like the waves will swallow you, cry out. He's not far. He's already there. And he still says, "Peace. Be still." Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting Bible story. Like, share and comment.